This is Arts Alive. I'm Lynda Philippi. My guests today, we have Kula, we have Lynn Crowley, and we have Busch, and they are here from the McMinnville Women's Choir to talk about the upcoming spring concert. So welcome, ladies.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
I'm really glad that you could come today. So Betty, since you're the director, do you want to go first and talk maybe a little bit about the history of the Women's Choir?
McMinnville Women's Choir is finishing up our 4th year.
Wow.
We started 4 years ago when I moved to McMinnville and found there wasn't a women's choir here. I have previously conducted a similar group in Corvallis called Jubilate, the Women's Choir of Corvallis, which is celebrating our 20th year this year. So the nonprofit umbrella that funds Jubilate was able to include the new choir, the McMinnville Women's Choir, and here we are, strong, singing with each other 4 years later.
And about how many people do you have in the choir?
At the moment we have 25. We've been as big as 40.
Wow.
People are flowing in and out depending what's going on in life for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So either one of you can start, but how did you come to be involved with the women's choir? We'll start with Lynn.
Yeah. Well, I went to their first concert and I said, I have to sing with this group. This is a choir I've always wanted to sing with.
Okay.
So I was just hooked.
What draws you? Do you love the music, the people?
I love the music.
Okay.
I love the feeling that's projected. I love the sense of community. I loved everything about it.
And what kind of music do you typically sing?
We sing a big variety. Betty could speak to that better, but we sing everything from African chants to classical,
Oh, wow.
classical pieces, everything in between. Some really fun and some quite serious, but all heartful, I would say.
Mm-hmm. And Katie, what do you think about that?
I think it's great. Yeah, I love the selection of music a lot, and I'm a little bit newer to the choir. I just joined last winter, so.
And what made you decide to join?
I have 2 young children, and I had just reached a point where I had a little bit more freedom suddenly in their development, and I ran into a friend who's the outgoing president of this group at a concert, a different concert, and she mentioned the choir, and I said, "Oh, choir?" And she said, "Yeah, do you like to sing?" And I said, "Yeah, I think so." And I just started going, but it was my first experience ever singing in a choir.
So you didn't sing like in school or anything?
I did not. I grew up in what I felt like was a very non-musical culture, just here on the West Coast. Singing wasn't really a part of most of my growing up, so
okay.
I had a few experiences, mostly church related, but yeah, it's new to me, so it's been great.
You know, when I think of choir, I think of when I was in junior high, so 7th and 8th grade, and our poor choir director, this poor man, he was just so beleaguered by all these girls, and we'd have to go early in the morning, before school started. And we would just pull, all these little pranks on him, and he would try so hard, the poor thing. And one day, I think we upset him so much. I mean, I really started feeling guilty, like this guy's going to have a heart attack. But we sang all those fun 70s songs, it was great. And so how do you choose the music?
Oh, I think 50% instinct and 50% what will the choir enjoy. My personal goal with it is after you sing the whole program or the whole list of songs, you've expressed your whole self.
Okay, and you try to do that for each concert that you have.
Right.
You try to make it do some sort of an arc or whatever.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
That's interesting. And you have an accompanist?
We do. Jane Moore is our accompanist. She's also the accompanist for the McMinnville Cooperative Ministries, where we rehearse.
And do you want to talk about the concert that you have coming up? Do you want to go through do you need this?
It's a good poster.
Sure it is. If you hold it up really still, he might be able to grab it.
So the choir is going to give our concert. It's called Summer is a Comin' In. There you go. Summer is a Comin' In is actually the very first choir song ever written from the Middle Ages. I don't know the exact date, somewhere maybe in the 12th or 13th century. We are not singing it in Middle English, we're singing it in normal English, but it's kind of a sprightly tune about summer. And cows and pigs and bulls and flowers and meadows, and it's fun. So that's the name of the concert. This one ends, as Lynn said, there's classical music, there's folk music. There's a song called New Jerusalem from the American shape note tradition, so the
Oh, my
early
goodness.
part of the country when we were first learning to sing. And we're ending with 2 tangos, one by Maureen McKenna, which I think you would recognize if you heard it, which is a kind of traditional serious tango with a soprano obligato. And then the very final piece is called Bittersweet Tango, which is a lament about not having enough chocolate.
Okay, and will there be tango dancing while this is going on, or you just will strictly be singing?
Just singing.
Singing.
Yeah.
Now, what do you wear? Do you wear choir robes, or do you just wear outfits? What do you wear?
We wear black.
Okay.
And then sometimes we have a little flair of something or other on the black.
I like it. Okay,
Yeah.
so that makes it simple. No big choir robe or costume.
There
Okay.
is an undercurrent of roses or flowers appropriate to tango this time. So,
Oh,
yeah.
well, of course.
Yes.
Something in the teeth, and then you're singing like this. Dun, 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 dun.
Right.
Can't really hit those
A
notes
new
with
challenge.
it. Yeah, exactly. For the choir. Wow. So, what's your favorite of the ones you're singing this time?
Gosh, I love the New Jerusalem song.
I do too.
I do. It's one you can just kind of belt out.
Okay.
There's something about it I really like.
That's the shape note song,
The shape note
early
song.
American shape note hymn.
So when people come to this choir, like we'll just talk about Katie because you're maybe one of the newer members. When you came, you didn't understand necessarily harmonies or what you were doing. Could you read music?
Yeah, so
Okay.
I grew up playing the piano.
Oh, okay.
So I wasn't completely non-musical, but singing didn't feel like a part of my life. I've known people that just grew up singing, and it's really clear that it's always been a part of their life, and I would not consider myself that person, but I did know some about music. But yeah, walking in the first day, I just kind of, actually I got stuck with Lynn as my buddy friend, and I just followed her around and copied what she was doing, and I don't know, it's a really interesting thing. I think singing is a very vulnerable activity. I think it's like dancing or anything where you present yourself and you're very open and bare, I feel like. And I think it's really phenomenal to be in a group of women of mixed ages every week where people are willing to do that together. And often, especially when we're learning a song, I feel like it's very challenging for everyone. And I think it's, I don't know, I find it very powerful as an adult especially to be in a community where people are making themselves vulnerable in that way and stretching themselves in front of each other. And it's it feels like a very safe space that Betty has formed for that to happen. So I love that I get to step out of my normal life once a week and
Sure.
do this very, very, very different activity. My husband and I run a farm. I've been on here before talking about that. And I have 2 young children, so my life is very different than that.
When when I first saw you walk through the door, I thought, oh, this must be a great sort of, not to say it like this, but a nice breather, a little break from the farm.
It's
You think,
balanced.
I get to drive to town and go be with other people in clean clothes. How fun is
Yeah,
that?
right? Totally, I change before I go.
Yes,
every
exactly.
time.
Wow.
So
now, do you break up into small groups during the rehearsal? So each, like the sopranos and the altos and the tenors, they can all learn their part, or?
Well, it's interesting you ask that. Over the years doing the choir, yes, the music we sing is in 4 parts, so it's soprano 1, soprano 2, alto 1, and alto 2. But we actually just call them 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4s. Each group has a section leader who is primarily a cheerleader and an administrator and an email sender.
Okay.
But people get loyalty and thick blood to their group, and it's a big deal if a 2, for instance, Katie is coming up to the section 1 to sing a couple of songs, and it's a big deal. The ones accept her, and she agrees to go as long as she can return to her tribe. It's just a kind of interesting phenomenon.
That's kind of fun. So what has that been like? I mean, do you feel just as safe with these other people?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody's so great. But it is really, it's interesting to realize how accustomed you get to the voices that you're singing right next to. So then when you switch, even within the section, it can be a bit of an adjustment listening to different people,
Well, and it's easier to sing your part if you have somebody on either side that actually knows the part.
especially if Lynn is sitting next to me.
Because you're a strong singer.
Well, I work on it.
She practices more than I have time to.
I don't have little children at home.
Well, okay, so then let's talk. Let's talk
practice.
about your own personal rehearsal routine. You get up in the morning and you gargle whiskey, and then you start running through a few light scales, or what do you do?
No, but I usually, when I start coming closer to the concert, I'll try to work on a little bit every day, and then it's just more fun. And Betty so encourages us not to be glued to the music. So, and it's really such a different experience when you sing because you know the song and
Right.
you're listening to everybody else than when you have that music.
So
right?
do you have
true.
it taped, like the accompaniment taped, so that they can listen at home and sing along, or how does that work?
Well, I think what everybody would really like is a pill they could take. And when you swallow the pill, you know all your songs.
Sure.
A lot of choirs do that. They provide a CD or a computer files or something like that to learn the music. Because one of our missions is community, it's just to enjoy the experience of singing with one another, it seems kind of counterproductive to require people to learn all their music at home. So what I try to do is make it appropriate and easy enough that we can actually learn the music when we're together every week.
And then,
Yeah.
well, for this concert, so how long have you been working on this repertoire?
Since January or February, we were involved in the community concert that is done here in early March. So that kind of takes our attention away until after that's over. So we've been really working hard on this music since early March.
Okay, so really it's not a vast amount of
Yeah,
time, a few months maybe. Yeah.
Especially for the number of songs. How many is it? 12?
I think it was 12 songs, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you know 10 of them. Kidding.
Yeah, pretty much.
80%, that's what Betty says. As long as you know 80%.
Well, here's the thing. If you can,
Yeah.
if you sort of know, and at least you know the note,
And you can listen for everybody else. and
right?
what
You can
they
always
know.
hit your note, just kind of in a pure sound, right? I hope somebody else can fill in that word around you.
Well, it's amazing how Betty does this timing-wise. We always peak. We always seem to peak right at the concert. You know, we're always a little nervous before. Are we really going to pull this off?
Do you do any kind of a rehearsal the day of the concert, or just the day before?
Day before is the big one, the big dress rehearsal. But yeah, we have a little warm-up rehearsal. My idea is that's when we fill the room with love. Kind of warm up the room, warm up the space, and then allow the people to come in, and we just go for it.
You know, I was reading an interview with somebody, a singer, like a popular singer, I don't remember which one, and he was talking about, all the different things that he eats and doesn't eat. And he said, and I love wheat, but my vocal cords don't love wheat. Have you noticed anything that you eat or don't eat that makes you maybe a better or a worse singer? Because I thought that was a really interesting thing to say. I don't know if he just felt like he was getting kind of, hoarse or, I don't know, congested maybe? I wasn't sure.
Not sure about that.
Okay. Well, let's go over this one more time. So you have Saturday, June 13th.
Saturday, June 13th at 7:00 p.m. at the First Baptist Church on Cowell Street. We like performing there. They have beautiful acoustics, and
They
they have
do.
enough room for all of our
Really
people.
nice.
And they have a beautiful lobby area for all the chocolate desserts that we will be serving to you after the concert.
Oh, very nice.
And we thought it'd be kind of mean to sing as the last song, the Bittersweet Tango, and then offer chocolate to our audience members as well.
That's really great. And the concert is free.
The concert is free. We do accept donations.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, I wish you lots of success, and hopefully it'll be wonderful. Thank you so much for coming today.
Well, thank you so much.